house is a lifeline. Most come here in the middle of the night with their children to escape beatings, rape and abuse. The 5-bedroom house is run down and struggles to cope with the increasing number of victims seeking shelter. There are 2 such refuges in Hamilton. The addresses are kept secret, but after years in the same spot, it seems many know where to find them.
Well, we've had women that we've actually been dealing with just up at our support centre. They don't know where refuge is, and they'll get into a taxi and the taxi driver will take them to the refuge house.
Refuge workers say the lives of the 20 women and kids at the homes could be at risk if they don't move.
Our refuge has been there for 9 years now, and any confidentiality we did have was blown a long time ago. We've had partners turn up looking for their women folk, and they don't care who they hurt to get to them, they don't care whose lives they put in danger, they're just going to get to her, and that's the only focus they have.
But they say council regulations are barring the move. Under the district plan, they're allowed to move if more than 5 people in the house, they have a live-in supervisor, if they publicly advertise where they intend to move to, or if they ask the permission of all the neighbours. Refuge workers say they can't advertise their location or afford to pay for a supervisor, and they need to be treated differently by council.
They need to be more sensitive to refuge needs and treat refuge in the district plan as a completely separate organisation, and not put us in with inappropriate people like mentally and intellectually disabled people.
The Hamilton City Council denies it's hampering the move, saying they must comply with the rules.
Well, they have no choice, I think. They have to go. If they want to make it non-notified, they don't want to have a live-in supervisor, they have to go to the neighbours and get the approval. That's a must. Unless they go and change the rules, they request for the rules to be changed. See, as I said, we are directed by the district plan. That's a public document. It has gone through a public process, and those are the rules right now.
Emma Hart, News at 7.
The Hamilton City Council has been busy today reassuring residents of First Street and Cameron Road that their street names haven't been changed, contrary to a flyer they've received in the mail. According to the flyer, First Street is now Whakahoki Whenua Boulevard and Cameron Road is Ropatu Road. The flyer was produced by a Māori independence group, Te Runanga o Waikato, and we have Maioha Kelly from that group with us and Gulab Bilamoria from the City Council. Maioha, why do you want to change the names of the streets?
We think it's a necessary process because we're undergoing a healing process of what happened last century with the confiscation of our lands in Waikato here.
Is there a particular reason for choosing those two streets?
Well, Cameron Road, Duncan Cameron was the general of the army that came over and like, you know, like confiscated Waikato land, and with Firth was basically in the same army too.
Do you think many people actually know that?
I don't think they do, but it's really necessary that they know the history of this area, so you know that they can sympathise with us and hopefully support us on these issues.
Well, Mr Bilamoria, can people just walk in and change the names of streets?
No, under the Local Government Act of 1974, there's a special procedure. If a name has to be changed, it has to be done through a special order procedure. That procedure goes through a public consultation, and what happens there is that someone can make an application to council saying that the name has to be changed. Council will then going to follow through a procedure, like, for example, is there a need to change the name? Is there a complication? Is there a hard to pronounce that particular name, or is it duplication? Then council will go to the appropriate neighbourhood and get a consensus from them. And if there is no need for it, then obviously the approval won't be given. But if there is a need or there is a problem that could be changed, it has to go through a special council policy.
So why not do it that way?
I think as Indigenous people to this area, I think we haven't been consulted when the names were laid down, and I think, you know, why do we have to go through such long processes when we just go and change them?
But you've instructed the people of the streets that their names going to be changed. It's pretty strong, isn't it?
Well, our people were instructed last century to move off their land and go and live somewhere else, you know, under land confiscation.
OK, so you're changing them to Maori names, but we have Whakahoki Whenua Boulevard. Now, Boulevard's not terribly Maori, is it?
But Whakahokia Whenua is.
But why Boulevard? It's French.
Oh, it gives it a nice
We have a bit
ring.
of a gripe with the French as well, you realise?
Yeah, but it gives it a nice ring. I mean, it's Whakahokia Whenua, I mean, that means something to us, so that's the most important thing.
OK, so who pays for this?
I think the council should pay for this.
The council should pay for business cards to be changed, signs to be changed, letterheads to be changed.
It's their responsibility as far as we're concerned.
How do you feel about that, Mr Bilamoria?
Well, as I said, the procedure is if the community is not happy with it, then obviously it might not be changed. But what happens in the new subdivision, if the owner requests to council that we want this new street to be named, then that's no problem. Like just the other day, we received an application from Taonui Trust Board. They're doing a subdivision corner of Sandwich Road and Brand Road. They requested the three Maori names to be looked at. So that's the way of doing it. If you're creating new names, there is a procedure.
Couldn't we, though, start a process in Hamilton where anyone who made a decision a few years ago that we now don't be particularly keen about, perhaps a councillor who made a bad decision about sewerage, we might have to change all those names as well?
Oh, and that's a council matter, but as far as we're concerned, I mean, being Indigenous people to this area, you know, we do have rights, and I think it's about time that we recognise those rights.
What sort of reaction have you had from the residents in the streets?
We haven't had too much reaction at this point in time, and, you know, maybe they'll like the names.
No consultation was carried out when the land was taken. Why do it the same way now? Haven't we learnt more? Isn't consultation very important now?
Consultation, the process just takes so long. I mean, our people have been consultating for 150 years, and what lands we've kind of received back are just like pittance in terms of what was confiscated last century.
What will the council be doing about this, Mr Bilamoria? Have you had reaction from residents who are worried?
Well, we have received a number of telephone calls, and we have told them that there is a procedure under the Local Government Act of changing the names, and we haven't received any application.
So have you just told them to carry on using the old names?
Oh, yes.
So in effect, your group could be the only people calling Cameron Road Raupatu Road?
Oh, I think a lot more people, a lot of Māori people, especially around Waikato, will probably be calling it Raupatu Road because, you know, I mean, it's significance to us. It means something to us.
Is this just the beginning?
Yes.
What other streets have you got in mind?
Well, we're just deciding that at this point in time, just looking over the street names and the significance of the old names, or the names that are there at the moment, and thinking what is appropriate, what is it, you know, because these areas had names before they were named, you know, Cameron Road and Firth Road. So, you know, I think we should go back to those old names that our ancestors left there for us.
Would it be a good idea if you had a chat about it? Or are you just going to bypass the council altogether?
I'll have to consult my, my group on this.
Thank you to both of you for joining us tonight. Coming up after the break, why does Hamilton need an ethnic coordinator?